So welcome back. I guess we're ready now. So Will and I forgot her name, Nicola will present the first year of Romo IX.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Hi. So I hope you are all awake and that we are not digesting anymore. So here is Nicola that just came, and we are here to talk to you about our experience and our first year running Romand IX. Oh, that's the one you should use, it seems. So that's our agenda. We will make a small presenter bio because we want to introduce ourselves because you don't know us, and why we did another IXP, what we did special there, and what were the lessons learned, and then we might even have time for questions. Okay, so use this one. Okay, so Nico is the founder of Citis Network and the CEO of Nimag, and he has been doing community networks for roughly 20 years. And I've got like way too much and too many hats, and I still have got some RIPE Atlas probes in my bag. So if you want some, just come and request them after the talk. Oh, yay. Okay, so first of all, what is Romand IX? Romand IX is a small, an IXP that was founded as a non-profit organization. We founded that last year, and the idea was to go and reunite all those people who were kind of connecting together with like direct connection, dedicated peering session, and so on. But we wanted to aggregate all that in one location. So why another IXP? I mean, there is like already IXPs in Switzerland. We know some of them. And so first of all, make it simple, because we want no full mesh between all of us. And so we also wanted to give the opportunity to provide other services. For instance, a member could, we could like with all the members share the link, share a link and go reach other services in Zurich, I don't know, maybe to reach another IXP, for instance. And obviously, because we don't have enough things to do, we are like so bored, so we said, oh yeah, we should do something else. And obviously, it's fun, and it's another excuse to drink some beers and drink some wine with our friends. So what we did, so first of all, simple, build an association, then we get some IP space from RIPE, and we buy a switch. So we got an Arista 750. Why we got that switch is because we already run some switches like that or similar brand in our network, so we were kind of familiar, and some insightful people told us that we could be able to do what we want with this device. We also got some servers from the members, and we hosted that in different locations. We created our peering DB entries because we are like paying attention to what Arnold says, so that's the good thing. And so we set up our VMs, install AXP Manager, and well, we install our route server and we filter day one. And you all know that I really love filtering. So basically, it's a script that's implemented in AXP Manager. It runs really well. It's easy. So that was done. And so we configure our switch with the reseller mechanism and like one VLAN power port. And well, so that was the start, but everybody can do that, you will say me. But Nico wanted to do more.
So hello, Swinug. The question was, you know, there is broadcast, Mac learning, you should implement RP, NDP inspection. Sponge from M6 can do stuff too, but is there another paradigm? Perhaps is there another way to do so? Let's hack a switch. We need something not too expensive and perhaps not too energy consuming. So we can use this Arista. And NDP inspection, for example, we can find those kind of feature in the available second hardware we can have for our budget. So is there an alternative way? Can we also some other problem like broadcast with Mac is forgotten, you know that, and the ARP broadcast load too is a problem as the CX. You have thousands of participants asking for thousands of other participants. It makes something like 700 packets per second, I know, and some router can absolutely not keep the rate. So, as Will has said, let's do some separation first. T'as pas été un peu trop long à la vis? Ah non, c'est juste. It's okay. We will put each participant in his own VLAN, okay? For that, we will try to use the direct flow feature of Arista that is for me a kind of open flow, but it's static in the switch, so no controller, you just write the rules like that. So sorry, because this talk will be a little about SDN, but not so much. I think we can support that. You have the example there with simple two flows, one for V4 participant and V6. You see that there is a destination MAC address with a mask that seems to be common is the SDN rule. So with this mask, we can address several pairs with a range of MAC address. We will come that later. The strange mask on the VLAN is that it's possible with our switch to use other VLAN range that direct flow won't touch. So if we get back a VLAN from another IXP, it will be not touched by the rule. So that for that. But in that case, multicast and broadcast will not flow between VLAN. And you will say it won't work because NDP, RP resolution. How can we handle that if a broadcast and multicast doesn't go between the VLANs? So, if it's the case, perhaps we just have to generate ourselves the RP and NDP response for each participant. And it's why again Arista give an access to the shell so easily. It's really cool. You just have to type bash and then sudo bash, and you're root on the switch. And I can figure out that a simple executable that I built on an old Debian 7 with the MD64 architecture just run like a charm on the switch. So perhaps we would ask why Debian 7, but I think it's the compatibility with the glib that it's not too recent in Arista. I think Debian 8, you will have some lib compatibility. Perhaps there is an official cross-development setup, but I was too in a hurry, so I have something that was working, just use it. And then each VLAN on the Arista is just seen as a standard VLAN interface. You just have to no-shut it and you can use it. RP is the simple case. We call our little daemon RP dictator because it tells a kind of truth to the participant in the VLAN. It just has a simple configuration file, just MAC address and IPv4. It makes the mapping between two. It's kind of a spoofing tool, but I couldn't find something that was already written. Perhaps someone in Python that answer for one single IP address, but I wanted something that go fast, so it's written in C. And there is some rate limiting. If one participant tries to ask more than 500 packets per second, the daemon will sleep. And as far as there is one daemon per VLAN, it will not impact the other participant too much. That was the idea. For NDP, I will say it's a tricky case because someone knows well about NDP work. I have this big graph near my desk in Lausanne, where this all the state of this big state machine, and there is the problem. It's not a problem, but more complication than RP that it use different multicast destination address to get the corresponding MAC address. I take not too long time, but it takes time to learn how to construct this pseudo header and do the checksum calculation on IPv6 packet. But I finally managed to do it. And there is this other specificity that NDP is not another Ether type protocol. It's a subtype of ISCMPv6, and I cannot. The direct flow rules we see before will forward a bad response or a spoof response. So the idea was to block all neighbor ND neighbor acknowledge at the input of the switch. Because there is the dictator, the participant don't have to answer for another peer. And you see in the protocol, I also block route advertisement and router solicitation that we absolutely don't want to see on an AX. The configuration is the same idea as IPv4, just a simple file with 2 columns. I was, for the moment, too lazy to generate automatically the link local, so we just put them like that, but it's in the to-do list. There is some caveats. You break the reachability information between peers, because participant will think that the neighbor is there, but it's like if the neighbor is totally firewalled. You just have ARP running and NDP running, but it's not there anymore. But for the moment, let's BGP have this responsibility to remove the routes if I have no access, because it will be very unlikely that a participant in the VLAN can still reach the root server, the other participant, but both participants cannot see each other. In case of a crash of one of those daemons, the participant will lose at the same time the root server and the other participant. So it's not a really big deal. And we also know that RP can take very long to figure out that a neighbor is not there anymore. And the last thing I said in the to-do list, so the idea is that those different daemons talk together with IPC or whatsoever, and so they can communicate and say, I won't answer for this participant because I cannot reach it anymore. MAC addressing was something we were thinking about, because it's when you see the configuration file, perhaps someone noticed that the MAC address are really the same between the peers, because we have this ID now equipment, on most equipment we can specify the MAC address. I know there is still a case that causes trouble. Some vendor, I have this example of Juniper that I think it's very funny, because the guy don't even give a timeline or an ID to resolve the problem. I know Brocade have a problem with that too. But never mind, we have this ID, we will give MAC address to the participant. So, no, this is going too fast. If we give the MAC address to a participant, we are sure that he will be able to configure it. That's something that could be very cool, because when the participant will change his equipment, we have more chance that he will be able to do it again, and also he will be able to choose the right equipment, because if the first time he couldn't, he said no, it's not. But we still accept exception, because so if you want to have a good-looking MAC address, and be absolutely sure no participant will say, oh, I have the same MAC address in the switch somewhere nearby, and I cannot use the MAC address you've given. We just take an OUE 36 to give the MAC address. And the idea was to make those kind of /44 MAC subnets, so a participant can accommodate to 16 participants on the same port. Or we can also add a second. But it's interesting because using MAC subnet give only one direct flow route in the switch. So that's it. No excuse of possible conflicts. And this is the last slide for me. It's a kind of joke. I have the idea I was discussing with Will, and so the common XP way is more collaborative, like democratic and free speech. Everyone can talk. Say, I have this IP, yes, okay. You have some inspection. You have the money to pay NDP inspection and such high expensive feature that we can say it's the police. And if you behave bad, you get to jail. you are going to the quarantine land. And this way, it's something different, because we have the idea that it's just divide and rule, with the separation and the VLAN and the small daemon that just dictates it's this MAC address, it's this IP v4 or v6, and it doesn't put in jail when this is wrong. It's just suppress it, like in the whole Soviet Union, if you want. And there is the small to-do list. I said the code actuality is not very beautiful. It's perhaps I'm too lazy, or it's, I lack of time. This too. It is dynamic accessibility of the participant, so he can communicate and restore the reachability information between peers. Perhaps add some ring packet RX and TX. In Linux, it's really cool because you don't call resave call and send call for each packet. And perhaps also external code review and methodology. Perhaps we miss something that is very big. Yeah, we are on the wrong road, but okay, it's finished.
Okay, so I will go closer to the conclusion. So what we notice is like many common current switches run Linux. So we use this Arista, but I think there is many other devices where you could do something similar. I also heard that some people from that brand is actually going to do a talk at EuroIX about running an IXP with just like one switch. I'm not sure about the details, but at least it means that those things are not uncommon. I also mentioned the human parts. The interesting thing is that we realized that because we are running our IXP as a non-profit, things tends to take a bit longer because obviously we are non-profit, so we are like lower on the priority list if you look at paying customer, like paying customer will go first. So we need to push a lot our member and the participant to go and get action done. So that was like one of the experience, but it's part of the game. I mean, we know that, and yeah, that's the fun also of the project. And you might also notice that we are really not good webmasters, but that's kind of okay because we're engineers. On the other hand, the good thing is that Romandix is like the first IXP in Switzerland who is Manners for IXP ready. So that's a cool thing. We do the filtering on our RS, and we do that RRP and NDP fun on our switch too. And so we've got plans for the future. We want to reach Zurich. We want to reach Geneva. We've got like people who are ready to support us for that. We want more members. We are because we want more traffic, obviously, and we are also considering RPKI. And last and not least, we have all that code that Nico worked on ready on our website, so you can go and check that. Well, maybe not right now because it's not time yet. No, not time yet. In 15 minutes, you will be able to reach that code. And yeah, so that's kind of done for me. So join us if you want, support us if you want, and ping us, mail, smoke signal, everything works, we're around. And we will mail the SwinOrg mailing list when we are in other locations. And with that, do you have any questions?
I guess not. Oh, yeah.
Do you support peering over VPNs?
We didn't consider that, but that's a good question. There is a good question because that would be considered as remote peering, and I know that some people are not really happy with remote peering, so that's an interesting debate. We can start that after at the coffee break or at the beers, because that will need a lot of beers, I guess. Other questions? No?
Okay, thank you
Upper
very
up.
much.
Ouais, trop tard. I would say one. Ouais, mais c'était coupé. Can I have the mic back? I just want to thank there isn't the presentation, but why we chose Arista, there is first Romain Aviola who did the presentation about hacking an Arista some times ago. Sebastian Keller, which he helped me a lot answering my question, and that's really cool. And the third, it's not there. Anyway, it's like that.
Thank you.